Welcome to Two Hearts Dance and Yoga's Heart to Heart series. It is my pleasure to bring some light of inspiration to keep us moving through it all. Today, it is my pleasure to bring Michelle Figueiredo, Chellie Fig, to our series. Chellie graduated magna cum laude from Rider University with a BA in Behavioral Neuroscience, a BA in Dance Performance, and a certificate in leadership. Throughout college, she was a member of the National Honor Society for Dance Arts and trained with American Repertory Ballet at the Princeton Ballet School. Michelle is a former 4-year veteran and 2-year captain of the NBA's Sixers Dancers. While representing the Sixers Dancers, she has performed internationally across China on an NBA China tour 4 times. She danced on the NBA's AllStar Dance team held in New Orleans, Louisiana in 2014, and the NBA AllStar Game in New York City in 2015. She has also appeared on local television channels, radio stations, and performed backup for various artists. Chellie is also an accomplished dance adjudicator and instructor. She is on the faculty with Impact Dance Adjudicators and Elevate Dance. She teaches at Koresh School of Dance along with the Dance Arts Conservatory. Chellie completed a teaching tour in Germany and had the opportunity to choreograph for Liberty Dance Team. Currently, she is a versatile freelance dance artist based out of Philadelphia, dancing with AJ Harper Dance Project and separately under Melissa Rector. Welcome, Chellie.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. So happy to see you. So can you tell us how it's been dancing and teaching virtually during this time?
Yeah, it's super different. So I'm teaching both kids and adults virtually. And with kids, some kids transitioned really, really well virtually, and other kids did not. So it's I think, like, for me, I think it's a good temporary solution for some, whereas like it's not a long-term solution for some dancers. Yeah, I've had to learn how to adjust my teaching styles for a camera, and like it's funny because like on the different platforms, like on Zoom versus Instagram Live versus Mindbody Live versus anything else, like some cameras flip, some don't. So I don't really like know my right and left anymore because every platform is different. So it's been a learning curve for sure, but I feel like it's made me a stronger teacher because I have to learn how to adjust like to teaching virtually on, this virtual dimension, which is very, very different, which is something I didn't grow up doing. So it's a nice option for dancers too, because back in the day when I was dancing and learning to dance, we didn't have this option.
Absolutely. I think it makes teachers kind of learn on their feet. We've all kind of had to be thrown into this. But ultimately, you're able to reach more students now, which is really amazing. So I'm happy to see it.
Thank you. Thank you. Me too. And same for me taking classes. I've been able to take classes that I never have been able to because I live on the East Coast, and I'm now allowed or able to take, West Coast classes and stuff like that. So that's been really cool too.
Absolutely. Really awesome. So getting into it a little bit, how did you discover your love for dance in the first place?
So when I was 3, my mom tried to bring me to a dance class, and apparently like I was not having it. I don't know, I was just like crying and didn't want to do it. So then a year later, like my mom's best friend at the time took me back because my mom's best friend's daughters were dancing. So she took me back, and then that's when it started. I guess that maybe I was too young to start at age 3, and then at age 4 I did, and then kind of took off from there. I haven't stopped since. So I've been dancing since I was a little girl.
Awesome. Are there any styles that you prefer over others?
Yeah, I mean, I love training in all styles, and I like trying different styles or trying something new that I'm not used to. I love jazz. Jazz has a special place in my heart. I just love moving with like my isolations and moving really sharply, and hip hop too. I actually didn't start hip hop till much later in my life. I would say, I mean, I did it in high school and then like college and then post college, but I didn't start it. Like I started ballet and jazz and tap when I was 4, but I didn't start hip hop till much later. So I'd say jazz and hip hop are my number ones.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
So you danced in college at Rider University and earned a BA in dance performance. Share your experience in this program for our students who are intending to continue down the path of dance at higher education.
Sure. So dancing in college is so different than studio dancing. So I grew up as a comp kid. Like I did all the competitions. Yeah. So when you dance in college, it's very, very different. I tell my students this too. It's nothing like competitive dancing. It's so different. In college, it's heavily modern based. At least for me, it was very balletic. It was ballet and modern based. And I know a lot of programs are like that, unless you go to like a commercial dance program or something like that. But college dancing is so different than if you're familiar with like competition dancing. But it's heavily modern and ballet based, at least where I went and where I experienced. But that really strengthened my technique, which is something that dancers will always and forever need to keep up with and strengthen and develop. But yeah, it's just very different. That's the best. So, a lot of people when they get to college are like, oh my God, like this is so weird, like this is so different. And it's very, very different. But if you kind of go into a dance program knowing it's going to be different than what you're used to, I think you're better in a better mindset, and you're not really surprised by when you get there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to put it. I'm the same way. I grew up in competition dance and then decided to do dance in college. And I'm like, wow, this is so different. But it also like creates that like choreography base as well. So, I think with college dance, really dives into your kind of performance qualities and being able to actually choreograph pieces that make sense.
Sure.
If
Yeah, and it's cool because, and aside from a strict dance program, a lot of colleges, I can't say all, but most colleges offer different student groups for dancing. So I was involved in the dance team and the dance ensemble. So that provided students choreographic opportunities, like you mentioned. And then at least for me, for my dance degree, you have to fulfill certain requirements, and one of them is a choreography component. So yeah, that's true. I do agree with that it really develops your performance skills, your technique.
very
Lots of
good.
choreographic opportunities too that you might not get as a student in a dance studio.
Absolutely. Very,
Mhm.
very much. So you took the court with the NBA Sixers dancers for 4 years, and you were captain for 2 years.
Mhm.
Pro dance cheer life is a world of its own that I had the honor of being a part of. And I have many students who are interested in auditioning as well. Tell us about your audition experience and what it was like making the team for the 76ers.
Sure, sure. So I was a senior in college when I auditioned, or like going into my senior year. And it's a long process. You do like the preliminary rounds. Well, the first round was like an across the floor. And you did, I don't know, like 2 weights, just basic things like batmas, like a pirouette, maybe a leap. And if you pass that round, they give you a number. And then you go to the next round, learn choreography. And then I can't remember, so long ago, well, not that long ago, but and then you learn choreography. And then I think you learn another routine. And then throughout the audition process, you're putting on this production, you're learning choreography and staging with all of the other contestants or finalists. And then your final audition is this like big production, everyone's dancing, and then you audition 3 by 3. So it's not just like over and done in a day like some auditions are. It was like a week, like weeks that went on for the whole audition process. It wasn't just a 1 day thing. So I remember it's because like that, and during those weeks, like you go to the rehearsals and the practices, and there's just so much excitement and nerves, and you're like just thinking everything, and then so you feel that for weeks until you get a call if you like made it or if you didn't make it. So it's exciting, it's crazy, it's stressful, but it was really cool.
How was it being on the court, especially being a captain? You kind of have to, be in a different role and orchestrating, the girls on the court. Can you share that experience with us?
Yeah, like you mentioned, with being a captain, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that, like, if someone just like walked into a game and looked and watched the dancers that you don't see, there's a lot of like organizing costumes and going to the costume inventory and doing and filling out completing formations and if a dancer's out, were you blocking the formations and writing it down just to make sure, you have everyone accounted for? So there's a lot of things behind the scenes that you don't see. And then, captains also warm up the dancers at practice, start cleaning routines and stuff like that. So there was a lot of responsibility. And then on game night, yeah, same thing, a lot of responsibility, making sure all the dancers are going to the appropriate corners where they need to be. And there's different timeout events that we're a part of. So just making sure that everything is running smoothly and everyone's where they need to be and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much to it. People don't realize, like, you go to a game and you're just watching and it's like, we're like going crazy behind the scenes trying to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like when you run off the court and if you dance at like quarter break, which is after the first quarter, and then like you're doing a timeout, like the first timeout of the second quarter, you're sprinting once you get off the court to like get changed, do what you have to do, run to where you need to be. It's like mayhem behind the scenes. And then we come out on the court. It's like no one sees the behind the scenes. Yeah.
It's like all for 2 minutes of like being on the court too.
All the running around and craziness. Right. It's true.
It's such an experience. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, of course.
You also had the opportunity to travel internationally. You were at the NBA AllStar Game. Can you tell us a little bit about just how like much adrenaline was going through you during the AllStar Game?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I remember how nervous I was. It was a really cool experience. We went in 2014, we went down to New Orleans and there was one dancer from every dance team in the NBA. So that was really cool. You got to meet different dancers from different dance teams and like, how's your team do this? And kind of, just chatting dance and how different teams work. And I still keep up with some of the girls on Instagram, which is really cool. And I just remember, I mean, we performed at different events throughout All-Star Weekend, not just the actual All-Star Game. We did like the Friday night show and other things as well. But I remember during the halftime of the All-Star Game, it's just so, because there are like huge celebrities there. So, you want to look good and you don't want to mess up. And it's just like, you're so excited, your adrenaline's pumping, but like me, I was like so nervous and like freaking out. It was such a cool experience. And I look back with such fond memories and I have great photos from that. And there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. The All-Star Game was really, really cool. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't imagine because there are so many like celebrities, everyone's watching it on TV.
Yeah.
Were you guys a part of like the live performances as well?
Yeah, we did some like All-Star Saturday night. Yeah, there were different events throughout the weekend that we performed and danced at. And it was cool. I don't think this was televised, but at the like East versus West game, the Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference, we did like an Eastern Conference dance versus like the Western Conference dance. And it wasn't televised, but that was still like really cool. Yeah, there was a lot of choreography. I mean, in rehearsals, we were dancing for like 11 to 15 hours every day. We were up early and dancing all day and like until we got home, and then like shower, sleep, repeat the next day. It was a lot of rehearsals and a lot of choreography in a short period of time. So you have to learn fast.
Very fast, I can imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Oh, of course, of course.
Additionally, you are a dance teacher and a dance adjudicator.
Mhm.
Can you share your teaching journey with us and how you became an adjudicator for Elevate?
Sure. So I started student teaching. I guess my teaching career kind of started as a teenager. Well, not a teenager, but like a late teenager. I was a student assisting classes with my studio. And then eventually I got my own class. I think when I was a senior, I taught the little ones, like the 3-year-olds, the little babies. And yeah, from there, I went to college and I would sub classes when I was home from college for breaks and things like that. And then I just continued teaching. Geographically, I've moved different places since then. So I've been at different studios, and just from doing it for so long, you learn or you meet different people. And then sometimes I'll go into studios just to choreograph pieces or set a piece. So even if I'm not teaching there regularly, I'm still choreographing or teaching or doing a guest class or something like that. And then for Elevate, I think someone recommended me for Elevate and submitted my materials and stuff. And that's how I got started with Elevate. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I kind of selfishly ask that because I want to know how you got into that realm. Just because like growing up like a competition baby, it's like, how do people actually become like the judges? So thank you for sharing that because I just wanted to know.
Of course. Like, the dance world is really, really small. So, you'll meet a lot of people. And then a lot of times, like some people will be like, hey, like, do you have anyone that you could like recommend for this? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, here's their contact. So a lot of it's networking and who you know. With anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So you recently toured Germany and taught dance. How is it teaching and choreographing on the international level?
It was awesome. Germany was really cool. That was my first time in Germany. That was last summer. So, I mean, traveling to Germany was really cool. Loved it. And when I was not teaching or choreographing, I got to explore and see I have a friend that lives there, got to see her. It was really cool. In terms of teaching and choreographing, so there is a language barrier. There people learn English the way we learn Spanish in school. So you like learn it in high school, and sometimes you continue it through college. So it's the same in Germany, but with English. And I know I'm guilty of talking very, very fast. So like I had to remind myself when I was talking, like slow down because I do talk very fast. But for the most part, people really picked it up. They picked up the choreography. And that's the beauty of dance because like a plie is a plie. If you're, no matter what country you're in or where you are or what language you speak, a pirouette's a pirouette. So even if they don't know what I'm saying in English, if I'm demonstrating it, they know the step. So that's cool. So dance is a universal language in that sense. So you can take, as long as you know your vocabulary and your vernacular, good to go. But there was a language barrier. But other than that, it wasn't too challenging, like I said, because I demonstrated the steps and then everyone knew what it was. Yeah, it was a great experience. And then I got to choreograph and set a piece on a dance team there, the Liberty dance team. They're based out of Stuttgart, Germany. And yeah, that was really great experience too. Those dancers were really, really good.
Really cool. That is the absolute beauty about dance, that it is universal. It doesn't matter where you're going, people are going to know, and you're able to kind of bring people together with it. So I
Sure. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You couldn't be more right. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So Chellie, one last question for you. What advice do you have for young dancers and performers during this time?
During the COVID time, it's tough. And I know it's tough. It's tough for everyone. So try not to get so down on yourself. It's easy to when you're like sitting home and nothing's open. Philly's on full lockdown right now. So it's easy to get down on yourself. But everyone's in the same boat. Like hardly anyone is performing and auditioning right now. So we're all kind of in this like waiting game until the world opens up again. So try not to be so hard on yourself. Easier said than done. But you can still train. You can train virtually. You can keep your body in shape. You can run and work out and do workouts from home and things like that. And you can still update your materials, and you can do like a socially distanced photo shoot if you need new headshots or something like that. So there are still things you can do, and you can look online for online opportunities. If there's online shows that you want to submit to, or online choreographic opportunities. Like during the pandemic and quarantine, it was my first ever virtual performance, which I've never done before. And that's just a reflection of adjusting with the COVID pandemic and things like that. So there are still things you can do to keep your minds healthy and your body healthy and in shape. But try not to get so down on yourself. The world has to open up again. Mm-hmm.
Come out of this even stronger of a dancer than you were.
Right? Yeah, I really do agree with that, especially if like you're working out, like physically you can become stronger. If like, I don't have a home gym, but there's so many free workouts and resources that you can take advantage of, like on Instagram Live, or like I follow this one fitness instructor. She posts great workouts, and I just do those, and they're great. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I just even think about like technique. Like if you know you struggle with turns, this is your time to like get in there and start nailing them, even if it's from your kitchen.
Oh yeah, there's so much you can do at home, and nowadays too, and I tell my students this too, and I'm really aging myself, but nowadays too, there are so many tools that set you up for success. Like all of my students have a turning board and a foot stretcher and all of these things. Like growing up, we stuck our feet under the couch and stretched our arches and our ankles that way. And they have turning boards, so you can really have, you know, a true floor, or a tap board. Like my dad, I think, like when I was a kid, like cut a piece of like plywood or something, I was like tapping on that, so I wasn't like ruining the tiles in the kitchen. So there are so many tools that you can use too, to help your technique that you and I didn't have as kids.
I'm like, you guys have so many things now. Like, there's no reason not to be a better dancer after coming out of this, because you are able to tune into all of these virtual classes. You're able to take the time and really like perfect and hone in on your craft now. There's no better time than now to do that. So,
Sure. I
and
couldn't agree more. Yeah.
and as we're talking about this, where can people tune into you and take your classes?
Oh, so every Tuesday, Thursday night, I teach commercial hip hop via Koresh School of Dance. So if you sign up on you can sign up on the Mind Body app, and then a half hour before the class starts. The class starts at 7:30. A half hour before the class starts, they'll email you a code, the Zoom codes and passwords and everything like that. So that's Tuesday, Thursday. Sometimes I'll do like a free class on Instagram Live or something. Those are kind of pop up. And I'm still teaching in person at my one studio, because it's not in Philadelphia County, it's in a different county. So I'm teaching kids there. But yes, sometimes I'll do some pop-up free classes. And with Elevate, actually yesterday or Sunday, with Elevate, we did an in-studio intensive. So if any dancers are interested in having us come to your studio, you know, you can contact Elevate. We'd be happy to. It went really, really well. And we followed all like social distancing and safety guidelines and the COVID regulations. So it went really well. We can do that too. So just bug your dance teachers and your directors for us to come through.
Good, very good. I guess do you have a website, or can you tell us your handle so that people can make sure we tune into you?
Sure. My Instagram handle is at Chellie Fig. It's spelled ChelliefIG. And then my website is also chelliefig.com, spelled the same way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chellie. On behalf of Two Hearts Dance and Yoga, we really appreciate you and just sharing the light with all the things that you're doing. Look forward to taking some of your classes and just tuning into all of the awesome things that you continue to give us. So thank you so much, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you asking me, and it was so great to be here in Chat Dance.
It is my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.